Hey everybody, Jake here from Bearded Gear, and I have a quick package to open. It is the end of my day. If my voice is hoarse, I just filmed several videos. I'm getting into a new schedule here where content making happens when I can squeeze it in, and then I'm able to do it kind of in bursts. So anyways, I just filmed a few reviews. If my voice cracks, don't judge me, but I've got this exciting package to open. If you read the description, in here there are a couple of SRK knives. Not the Cold Steel SRK, but the knife maker who goes by SRK Knives. These were sent to me by my buddy Alex, who I will link his Instagram down below. Alex is a really cool dude. He's been one of my Patreon supporters. He's just been very supportive of the channel, and I appreciate him quite a bit. And so he got the first of these two knives from SRK Knives, and I don't want to put words in his mouth and make up stories here, so I probably shouldn't try to retell because I'm terrible at retaining information. I think Alex has been working with SRK Knives to kind of design these knives as being a good EDC fixed blade setup. And so the first one SRK Knives made and sent to Alex, and then there's kind of a version 2 which has a couple of updates to it, and they're still a work in progress. So these are not the model that ultimately will come from these. These are prototypes, a version 1 and version 2 prototype of this knife design, and they've already got a whole slew of things that they're working on that will be edits that are already decided for these. But Alex has kind of been talking to me a little bit about them and kind of picking my brain on things I like and dislike, and I find it flattering that he thinks my input is valuable in some way. But he asked if I wanted to check them out, and so they are not done. I want to reiterate that these are prototypes of this knife design, but what will ultimately come from these is, I think, going to be pretty cool. And so I was happy to check these out in the meantime and just kind of see where they're at. Alex has been sending me some pictures, and that's been exciting to see. So this one, I think, doesn't have a sheath at the moment, I'm guessing, from the way that it's wrapped up in a towel with duct tape, like it's a murder weapon. So that's cool. We're gonna see what's in here, and then the other one that I just set on the table is in a sheath. So I will do a more in-depth impressions video of these after I read through the notes from Alex a little bit better and freshen up on what exactly is happening here, so that I'm not going too out of line. But for the moment, I just want to get these unboxed and see what they look like, and then I'll start digging into them a little bit deeper after that's done. But I figured you guys might want to watch me get them out of here. This is exciting, right? Watching me remove duct tape. Ooh, so cool. Jake, show us more. Woohoo! Oh, man. All right. This is really taken in there. What's a little scary is in here somewhere there's an edge. And I think it's pretty sharp. So pulling off this duct tape is a little bit high stakes here, isn't it? That's good. Builds character. Alright, we're getting closer. Most of the duct tape is off. I think this is the last piece of what's really wrapped on here. This is exciting content. Riveting. Oh, man. Alright. I think we're there. Yes. Last of the duct tape. It's gone. Oh, now there's masking tape. That's gone. Okay. In here. Oh, that's funny. I think this is the version 2. So I'm actually going to show this after. Let's look at the first version first, and then we'll look at the second version. So, fancy towel. Set that aside for when I send them back to Alex. This, I believe, is the version 1. Now, you can see right now it's in a Kydex sheath. I believe SRK Knives made this sheath as well. I think this is a prototype sheath. I know they've also been playing around with ideas for sheath setup and all that. Right now it's wearing this belt clip on it. It's a pretty nice belt clip, actually. I like that you could just kind of run your belt through it, or if you needed to pull it off and put it on without unlooping your belt. I'm always a fan of that. So that's good. Now let's see in here. Oh, cool. So this one's coated. This feels like kind of like a powder coat to me. It's got a kind of a tacky finish on it in kind of a nice, robust way. It feels like a lot of SE or tops knives, like the types of coatings that they use. So this design is pretty simple and minimalist in a way that I like. I enjoy a lot of minimalist things, but we've got a little bit of a forward groove here, and then it kind of comes to a point right there. So you've got kind of this notch for your pointer finger, and then a nice neutral section back here with a little bit of swell towards the back, which is nice. There's a little bit of jimping right up on top there, but not a ton, and it's nice fine jimping. Feels pretty good to me. There is a hole here. I assume that's really just kind of a design choice. On a fixed blade, obviously you're not using that for deployment method. I suppose you could run cord through it to go to your wrist if you're hard using this knife or something. So that could be a thing. But this one, I forget what blade steel he said these are in. They're just prototypes. I know they've been tossing around ideas for what blade steel they'll go with when this is a model that's ready and available for sale. But this is a cool profile. I was expecting it, honestly, to be a little bit smaller than this, based on the photos he'd even shown of it next to other knives. But perception is a funny thing when you're looking at pictures of a knife versus when you have it in hand. It inherently kind of oftentimes changes a little bit. But this is nice. I like the profile of this blade. The edge that's on it is good. I will say for an EDC fixed blade, it does feel quite thick behind the edge to me. If this was a small outdoor folder, then I can see it. Like if I'm going to be batoning with this, if it's in a steel like 3V or Cruware or something, and it's a nice tough, small, tough knife, then yes, I think this thickness is a little more warranted. But if it's going to be designed to, like, if I'm going to EDC a fixed blade these days, I carry it horizontally. I found that's what works for me. And so I'd probably want it to get a little thinner. Anyways, I'm jumping into like impressions territory. We're going to talk more about this in the actual video of it. Now this one is the next iteration, and it addresses a lot of the things I was just talking about. So that is funny. This is definitely lighter, and it's a thinner blade stock, and it's a full flat grind. So radically different. Funny how it's already addressing the things that I talked about on the version 1. Interesting. So on this one, we've got a nice, I think this is just stacked G10, and they've cut these notches into it, which really kind of show it off quite well. They're a little aggressive for me, if I'm honest. It's not too bad, but a little bit kind of cornery. I might just round them a little more. And I think they've talked about making these scales a little thinner, which I think could probably be a good thing now that I've got the knife in hand. But yeah, the real difference here, right off the bat, is this blade stock is way thinner. Let me get this one out. It's noticeably thinner blade stock. If you look at the two of them side by side, it's quite a bit thinner. And then this one being a saber grind, and this one being a full flat grind with that thinner blade stock, this one is a much slicier profile. That's quite thin behind the edge. That feels really good. So yeah, it's if this is designed to be an EDC fixed blade, then definitely this thinner one feels about like the way to go to me in terms of this blade profile. And yeah, that's cool. You've even got like a little bit of flex in the blade because it's nice and thin, and it's a little bit of a longer fixed blade. That feels really cool. I could imagine this being quite comfortable to carry and use. So I like that the handle profile stayed largely the same. I like the shape of this handle and the way it fits my hand. That's really nice. This is really nice and usable. Cool. So these are unboxed. There's going to be a first impressions on them soon. And I'm sure I'll keep thinking of more and more as I fidget with them here at my desk. I guess you don't really fidget with fixed blades, do you? But as I fiddle with them, as I fiddle with these fixed blades, I don't know what the proper way is to say that, but you know what I mean. These are really cool. So thank you to my buddy Alex. I will link to Alex's Instagram down below, and then I'll also I'll link to the Instagram of SRK Knives. I don't know if he has a site. If he does, I haven't been on it. That's bad to admit as I'm molding one of his knives, isn't it? Two of his knives. But I will at least link to his Instagram. If he has a website as well, I'll link to that. I'll link to whatever I can find to link to him. So Alex and SRK Knives will be linked down below in the description. And yeah, thanks, buddy, for sending these. I'm excited to check them out. And these I'm just borrowing for a little bit, and then I'm sending back to Alex with some feedback. So again, pretty wild that he values my feedback of all people. I'm just a dude with a beard. But I appreciate it, man. And I look forward to talking more about these because they're pretty cool. I'm liking them. So, thanks, guys. I'll see you on the next one.